1952 D wheat penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, which was introduced in 1909. The D means it was minted in Denver, one of the U.S. Mint's main facilities. These pennies were made with 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, like most pennies from that era. The 1952 D penny features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, while the back displays 2 stalks of wheat. This wheat design lasted until 1958, when it was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design. A total of around 91 million 1952 D pennies were produced, meaning it is not particularly rare. However, the coin's value depends on its condition. Pennies in poor condition are worth only a little more than their face value, while those in excellent or uncirculated condition can be worth several dollars. Collectors value the 1952 D wheat penny mostly based on its condition and demand for the coin. A coin in good condition might be worth 1 to 5 cents above face value, while those in higher grades could fetch $1 to $5 or more. Coins in top grades, like MS-65 or higher, can sometimes be worth $10 or more, though these are rarer. The 1956 D wheat penny was minted in 1956 in Denver, Colorado. This coin looks pretty normal at first glance. The front has a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Around his portrait are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year 1956. On the back, there are 2 stalks of wheat, which is why it's called the wheat penny. The wheat penny design was used from 1909 to 1958 before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. Most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, but some 1956 D pennies have a rare error that makes them worth a lot more. This error happened when the design was doubled during the minting process, creating the double die obverse (DDO) error. This means that the design was stamped twice, causing a double image on the front of the coin. If you look closely at the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," you'll see that the letters appear to be doubled. This is the mistake that makes the coin valuable. The reason the 1956 D-era wheat penny is so valuable is because of how rare it is. While millions of 1956 D wheat pennies were minted, only a small number of them were struck with the double die error. Most of the coins from this year are not worth much more than their face value, but those with the error can be worth a fortune. If you have a 1956 D double die obverse penny, it could be worth anywhere from $25,000 to $43,000, or even as much as $78,000 if it's in perfect condition. That's a lot of money for just 1 penny. So how do you know if you found one of these rare and valuable coins? The key is to look closely at the design. The most obvious place to look is the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." On a regular penny, these words should appear normal, but on a 1956 D double die obverse, you'll see a doubled image. The letters will appear blurry or shifted, creating a ghost-like effect. If you look closely at the L, I, and T in Liberty, and the T in Trust, you'll see that they are doubled. This doubling is what makes the coin valuable. You might also see some doubling near the date 1956 or the mint mark D for Denver, but the most obvious doubling happens in the lettering around Lincoln's portrait. If you think you found a 1956 D double die obverse penny, the next step is to check its condition. A coin's value depends a lot on how well it has been preserved. Coins that have been worn down from being in circulation are worth less than coins that are in great condition. If the coin is in mint state, MS, meaning it has no wear and looks as though it just came from the mint, it could be worth $78,000 or more. Coins in good condition, with visible wear but still clear enough to see the error, can be worth $25,000 to $43,000. Coins in worse condition, with heavy wear, are still valuable but worth less. Even in poor condition, the 1956 D double die obverse can still sell for a decent amount because of how rare the error is. The excitement of discovering this coin lies in the possibility of finding a penny worth thousands of dollars in your pocket. Coin collectors and numismatists, coin experts, are always searching for rare and unique coins, and the 1956 D double die obverse is one of the most sought after. Error coins like this one have a special appeal because they are mistakes that were made during the minting process, and owning one feels like holding a piece of history. People who collect coins for fun or as an investment are always looking for these kinds of rare finds because they can increase in value over time. And the best part is that you don't need to be a professional to find a 1956 D double die obverse penny. It could be sitting in your pocket right now. So how much can this error penny be worth? It depends on its condition and how much collectors are willing to pay. But, as mentioned, the value can range from $25,000 to $43,000 for coins in very fine to uncirculated condition. In mint state condition, the value can be as high as $78,000, or even more. The rarity and demand for this coin make it a highly valuable piece for any collector, and if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like this don't come around every day, and finding one is an exciting opportunity for any collector. In conclusion, the 1956 D wheat penny with the double die obverse error is one of the most valuable and sought-after error coins in the world of numismatics. Its rare design mistake makes it worth anywhere from $25,000 to $78,000, depending on its condition. If you're a coin collector or just love finding hidden treasures, this is one coin you'll want to keep an eye out for. The excitement of discovering a coin worth thousands of dollars is unmatched, and if you find a 1956 D double die obverse penny, you could be holding on to something worth life-changing money. So, check your spare change, and who knows, you might be the next lucky person to find a penny worth a fortune. 1941 wheat penny is one of the many coins in the famous Lincoln cent series. Most people know it as just a regular penny, but there are some things about the 1941 penny that can make it special, especially if you're a coin collector or just love finding rare items. While most of these pennies are common and only worth a few cents, there are certain factors that can make them valuable. If you find one in excellent condition or if it has a minting error, it could be worth much more than just 1 cent. The 1941 wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. On the front of the coin, there's a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design was created by artist Victor David Brenner and has been used since 1909. On the back, you'll see 2 stalks of wheat, which is why these coins are often called wheat pennies. The wheat design was used from 1909 to 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. While the 1941 penny isn't rare, it is a part of this important history of U.S. coins. The 1941 penny was minted in large numbers. Over 1 billion of them were made, which means it's not a rare coin. In fact, most 1941 pennies are worth just 1 cent, the same as their face value. However, the value of a penny can change depending on its condition. Coins that have been used a lot and have wear from being in circulation are usually worth less. But coins that are in better condition, especially those that are uncirculated, can be worth more. A penny in great shape, with sharp details and no signs of wear, can be worth a few dollars. Some 1941 pennies, if they are perfectly preserved, could even be worth $5 or more. One of the most important things to know about the 1941 wheat penny is that its value can go up if it has a minting error. A minting error happens when something goes wrong during the coin's production. One of the most popular mint errors for the 1941 penny is called a double die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the design is stamped twice, creating a double image on the coin. If you look closely at the word Liberty or In God We Trust on the front of the coin, you might see that the letters look doubled. This error makes the penny much more valuable because it's rare. Coins with this kind of error can be worth anywhere from $10 to $100 or more, depending on the condition of the coin. Another possible error on a 1941 penny is a repunched mint mark, RPM. Mint marks are the small letters, like a D for Denver, that show where a coin was minted. Sometimes, during the minting process, the mint mark is stamped more than once, which causes the mint mark to look blurry or doubled. This is a mistake, and collectors love to find coins with repunched mint marks. If you find a 1941 penny with a D mint mark that has been repunched, it could be worth more than a regular 1941 D penny. If you find a 1947 penny with any of these errors, it may be worth considerably more than its face value. In some cases, these error coins can sell for $50 to $100 or more, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. The 1947 S penny, which was minted at the San Francisco Mint, is often viewed as a little rarer than the 1947 Philadelphia or Denver issues, though it is still not a highly valuable coin. The 1947 S penny can sometimes fetch slightly higher prices, but it is still a relatively common coin and doesn't tend to be worth much more than face value unless in excellent condition or with an error. The 1947 penny was made at the tail end of World War II, and it holds historical significance. The 1940s were a time of great change in the U.S., and the wheat design on the back of these pennies was symbolic of the country's agricultural past. But the post-war years marked the beginning of a shift towards a more industrialized society, and in 1959, the wheat design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design, marking the end of an era. In addition to its historical importance, the 1947 penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which remains one of the most popular coins in the U.S. to collect. Many collectors seek to complete their collections of wheat pennies, and the 1947 coin is an essential piece of that puzzle, even though it's not one of the rarest or most valuable dates. The 1947 wheat penny is a coin that holds both historical and numismatic value, but it is not particularly rare or valuable by itself. Most 1947 pennies are worth only a little more than their face value, especially if they're in circulated condition. However, certain factors can make these pennies more valuable, including excellent condition or mint errors such as double dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. If you have a 1947 penny and it's in great condition or has an error, you could be looking at a coin worth more than just a penny. The best way to find out the value of your 1947 penny is to get it graded by a professional service, especially if it has a noticeable error. For regular 1947 pennies, don't expect much more than face value unless you find one with a rare error or in perfect condition. But for the lucky collector who finds a high-quality or error coin, the 1947 wheat penny could be worth more than just a handful of change. It could be worth some real cash. So next time you go through your coin collection, keep an eye out for any special 1947 pennies that might just be hiding some hidden value. The